In this video, we are going to take a look at ISI MSQE 2022 PEB question number 5. A profit maximizing monopolist produces a good with cost function C equals Cx, where X is the level of output. It sells its entire output to a single consumer with utility function. So this is the utility function. Okay. Next, T is the payment made by the consumer to the monopolist to purchase the output. This is a constraint that we need to keep in mind, that y is greater than equal to 0 but it is less than equal to x. Okay, and theta is strictly greater than 0. Suppose ty is equal to py plus t if y is greater than 0, and it is equal to 0 if y is also equal to 0. Thus, in order to purchase any positive amount of the good, the consumer may have to pay a lump sum amount or a per unit price or both. Okay, now let's do the first part, which is find the profit of the monopolist when it can choose any non-negative combination of T and P. Okay, so first what we need to do, we need to think from the consumer's perspective. Okay, so what will the consumer do? The consumer, if he doesn't buy the good, then his utility will be 0, right? But if he decides to purchase, then what he will do, he will try to maximize his utility, because as a consumer our job is to get as much utility as possible. Okay, so maximize the utility. What is our utility? Theta root y minus ty. What was ty? It is py minus t. Okay, so this is our utility function. So we will maximize this. Let's differentiate this with respect to y. So we will get theta divided by 2 root y minus p equal to 0. This is our first order condition. So from this we will have theta by 2p is equal to root y, or y star is equal to theta square by 4p square. Okay, so this is the consumer's demand if he wants to purchase the good. Okay, so there is a catch. He will only purchase this amount if the utility from y star is at least as much as utility from not buying the good. Okay, so he will only buy if utility of y star is greater than equal to utility when y is equal to 0, which is 0. Okay, so what will be our utility from y star? So let's write it: theta root y star minus py star minus t is greater than equal to 0. Okay, so our y star will be here. I am directly substituting it. So p times theta square by 4p square minus t is greater than equal to 0. Okay, so here will be theta. So we are having theta square by 2p minus theta square by 4p minus t is greater than equal to 0. So this becomes theta square by 4p is greater than equal to t. So if this condition holds, then the consumer will buy y star. Okay, done. Now we are going to go to the monopolist's side. Now what the monopolist will do, he will try to maximize his profit. So let's write the profit equation. So profit is nothing but ty, that is the payment that the consumer is making to him, minus cx, right? So there is this condition that we need to keep in mind. So in the profit maximizing case, this y can never be strictly less than x. Okay, this can't be the case. So let's argue first. If this happens, x is strictly greater than y in the profit maximization case, then the monopolist can reduce its production, which is x, and reduce his cost due to that, and not basically change his revenue, so that his profit will go up. if he reduces his x a bit. Okay, so by reducing his x, he will come to the point where x is equal to y. Okay, so what we will do, we will check that when y is equal to 0, then the profit will also be 0. But if y is strictly greater than 0, then his profit will be ty minus cy. Okay, so let's try to maximize that. So our ty is nothing but py plus t minus cy. Okay, and there are two conditions. One of them is t is less than equal to theta square by 4p, because he will only be able to sell a positive amount of good when this condition holds. Okay, and also our second condition, that is x is equal to y. Okay, then another argument that we need to make is, in the profit maximization case, this t can never be strictly less than this. Okay, why so? Because if t is strictly less than theta square by 4p, the consumer is still buying his y star, right? But if he just increases this t by an epsilon amount, he will still be able to sell that y star amount, but his revenue will go up, right? So he will increase his t up to the point where t is equal to theta square by 4p. Now we will just substitute this. Okay, so py plus theta square by 4p minus cy. Okay, also when this monopolist is holding this condition, then the consumer is buying y star. Okay, so what I will do is, I will plug that y star in this equation. So what was y star? Y star was, let me check. So theta square by 4p square. Theta square by 4p square plus theta square by 4p minus c times theta square by 4p square. Okay, so this is what we will maximize with respect to p. Let's simplify this. So we will have theta square by 4p plus theta square by 4p. So theta square by 2p minus c theta square by 4p square. Okay, so we will differentiate this. So our first order condition will be this plus 2c theta square by 4p cube equal to 0. This is our first order condition. Okay, so this will be just square. Okay, so 2c theta square 4p cube is equal to theta square by 2p square. From this, 2 gets cancelled out, theta square gets cancelled out. So from here we are getting this, p is equal to c. Okay, we are getting this p equal to c, and our t was equal to theta square by 4p. Okay, this is our solution. So you can also check the second order condition that will satisfy here. I'm not doing it currently. So what we need to find is, we need to find out the profit. So our profit was ty, which is nothing but py plus t minus cy. So p is equal to c, so this one gets cancelled out. So we are just left with p equal to t. So what is t? T is theta square by 4p, and since p is equal to c, we are getting theta square by 4c as our maximized profit. Okay, so this is the first part. Now for the part B, we need to find out the profit when t is set to be equal to 0. Okay, now what we are going to do is, Let's write this here. So this is part B. So in this case, since we know that t is equal to 0, automatically this condition will hold. What was our condition? T is less than equal to theta square by 4p. Okay. So t is 0. So theta square by 4p has to be greater than equal to 0, right? It can never be negative because theta and p both are non-negative in nature. So it will automatically hold this condition. So the consumer will always buy Y star units. Okay. So in this case, our profit maximization will look like this profit maximization problem. So Py, since t is 0, we will write Py minus Cy. Okay. So I will include the Y star amount here. So Y star was theta square by 4p square minus c times theta square by 4p square. Okay. So we are having theta square by 4p minus c theta square by 4p square. So we are maximizing this with respect to p. So we will have theta square by 4p, negative sign here, p square minus c theta square by 4. So there is p cube plus 2c equals 0. Okay. So 2c theta square by, sorry, c theta square by 2p cube is equal to theta square by 4p square. Theta square gets cancelled out. There is a 2 here. This gets cancelled out. So we are having p equals 2c as our price. Okay. So in this case, what will be our profit? Profit will just be p minus c times y. P is 2c, so 2c minus c is just c. C equal c times y. So our y star is nothing but theta square by 4p square. Okay. So theta square by 4p square, right? Since our p is equal to 2c, our p square will be equal to 4c square. So this becomes c theta square by 16c square, or theta square by 16c as our profit in this case. So our initial profit was theta square by 4c. Now it has become theta square by 16c. So you can see that the profit has gone down. Profit has gone down. Okay. In part B. Okay. Huh. So for part 3, we are going to check calculate when social surplus is higher. Okay. So what is our social surplus? Social surplus is nothing but our total utility plus total profit. Okay. So our utility is nothing but theta root y minus ty, and total profit is ty minus cy. Okay. So from this we are getting theta root y minus cy. So theta times, so we need to find out social surplus in both the cases. Okay. So this is the first case. This is the first case. So theta times root y. So our y star was theta square by 4p square. So this is theta divided by 2p, right? Yes, theta divided by 2p minus c theta square by 4p square. Okay. So theta square by 2, since p was equal to c in the first case, so I'm plugging that here. And this will be 4c square. So we are having theta square by 2c minus theta square by 4c. Okay, so we are getting theta square by 4c. Okay, so this is our surplus, total surplus in the first case. Now in the second one, again theta root y minus cy, so theta times theta by 2p minus c theta square by 4p square, so this is theta square by 4c, since in the second case our p was equal to 2c, so we just need to plug that here. So this will be 4 times p square, which is 4c square, so 16c square. So from here theta square by 4c minus theta square by 16c. Okay, so this will be 3 theta square by 16c. So in the first case our surplus was 16c and this will be 4 theta square. Okay, so this is 4 theta square by 16c and this is 3 theta square by 16c. So in the first case our social surplus is much more, so we got part C as well. Then in the last part we need to calculate the consumer surplus. Okay, so our consumer surplus is nothing but the total utility. Okay, this is our total utility plus P. Okay, so this will be theta times theta by 2p minus p times theta square by 4p square, and our t was equal to theta square by 4p. Okay, so this becomes theta square by 2p minus theta square by 4p minus theta square by 4p. Okay, so this gives me this will give me theta square by 2p minus theta square by 2p. Okay, so in this case our utility is 0. Okay, consumer surplus is 0 in this case. Now in the second case, once again we will do this, and since our t is equal to 0, so we'll have theta root y minus py, so theta times theta by 2p minus p times theta square by 4p square. So this will be theta square by 2p minus theta square by 4p, which is equal to theta square by 4p or theta square by 4 times 2c, because in the second case our p was equal to 2c. So we'll write theta square by 8c. So you can see theta square by 8c, this is strictly greater than 0. So in the second case our consumer surplus is higher, but social surplus is higher in the first one.